In this video, we're going to outline some of the major conflicts, tensions, interactions that the Greeks had with the Persians. So we're going to begin, first of all, by just highlighting some of the key Persian rulers during this period. First of all, there is Cyrus the Great from 560 to 529 BCE, or if you prefer BC. Of course, Cyrus is someone that people who have read the Old Testament, particularly the book of Isaiah, may be familiar with because he makes allusions to Cyrus the Great. Then there is Darius I from 521 to 486 BCE. And then there's Xerxes the Great from 516. So you see a bit here of an overlap between 516 and 465 BCE. So you'll see that Herodotus, who lived between 484 to 425 BCE, this is really is oftentimes considered the father of history. He's kind of what we might call an ancient historian. From the Greek city of Halicarnassus in Asia Minor, which is present-day Turkey, which was ruled by the Persians. So one of the things about people who write history, much like back then as it is today, the writing of history is very oftentimes done out of a particular agenda or sometimes out of a particular propaganda. So it's always kind of important to read what an ancient author is saying about events with an eye of criticism or skepticism, because oftentimes numbers can be inflated or deflated depending upon what's necessary to bring honor to those that the author wants to bring honor to. But really, Herodotus stands out because of some of the things he begins to start doing as a historian. So he begins to ask questions like, what are the causes or the conflicts between states? Not just who fought who, but what really brings about the conflicts. And also, how does one tell history? That is, how does one tell about the events in such a way that brings out the character of certain people, either one's opponents or who one might see as the hero or the savior or the deliverer. And so what's going on here at this time is a way of projecting, as it were, a way of thinking about the past in ways that highlight identity of a people, the identity of nations or groups of people. And so Herodotus then really kind of becomes the first person who helps us see how history is being developed during this period. So when we think about Greeks fighting with the Persians, there's this Ionian revolt and the Battle of Leucas in 494 BCE. So we've got Greek cities on the western coast of Asia Minor. So remember that one of the things that have been happening is there has been colonization by the Greeks and all across the Mediterranean, westward into Italy and Sicily and into southern coast of France and even into Spain, and also westward, not only into places like Asia Minor or Turkey, but even on to Cyprus and other places. So Greeks are spreading out, as it were, and establishing places. Very oftentimes, the places that they establish are going to be along the coast. They are seafaring oftentimes, and so the establishing cities on coastlines becomes very important, especially in terms of trade. So there are these cities along the western coast of Asia Minor, and some of them have become occupied by the Persians. but they don't want to be. Now, the Persians, when they occupied um, parts of Asia Minor, or as they occupied other parts of their empire, the Persians looked down upon other peoples and other people's religions, and oftentimes mocking them, humiliating them, dishonoring them. And so Greeks are responding in part to their overlords or to the people who occupy their area as a ruler, and they seek independence. So what's going to end up happening is um, those cities in Greece, mainland Greece, that are supporting the Greek cities are then going to be punished or seek to be punished by the Persians. In other words, these Greek cities wanted to help their brothers or cousins in Asia Minor, and because they were doing so, the Persians are going to come over and try and take over mainline Greece. So, an important battle takes place in 490 BCE. It's the Battle of Marathon, and with the famous Philippides running to ask for help from the Spartans. And so that's an important battle that'll take place then. The first successful win of the Persians over the Greeks was around 480 BCE when the Persians sacked Athens. So they were able to get all the way through to Athens, and that's kind of a major blow or a major event for that city. But Athens, Spartans, and the other Greek cities are going to respond, and they're going to prevail at Salamis and at Plataea. So, in responding then to what the Persians did, these city states are then able to demonstrate a certain resilience and strength against their Persian adversaries. So, in 481 BCE, there developed a confederation of Greek city states, and they were formed in support of Athens and Sparta. These are kind of known as the Allies. One of the important battles that will take place is the Battle of Thermopylae. And so you can see on this map that Thermopylae is where it's located, kind of, you know, towards the northwest of Athens, and all the way kind of there up at the top. And the Persians are victorious, and they're going to capture Athens, which has been evacuated. Then there is a sea battle that will take place at Salamis, so that's just off of the coast of Piraeus. And the general Themistocles is going to defeat the Persian navy. So the Persian navy, oftentimes made up of peoples from other parts of their empire, for instance, Tyre was a famous shipbuilding city that was within the Persian Empire. People like the Phoenicians were the sea peoples. And so the Persians used the different peoples within their empires to build ships and to create a vast fleet. But here at the Battle of Salamis, they experienced a defeat at the hands of the Greeks. Then there's the Battle of Plataea in 479 BCE. And then the Persian general Mardonius is killed, and the Persians are again defeated. So the Persians here are beginning to experience a defeat in Greece, and that's going to weaken their influence. And so this is going to play an important role as we will get into the rise of Philip of Macedon and as he will gather strength, at least of many Greek city-states, in his attempt to rally unification and then as well prepare for a rebuttal attack against the Persians much later on. So we'll deal with the Peloponnesian War then in the next video.